All right, I'm bringing them in. Here we go. Ben's question. On a scale of 1 to 10, rank your confidence feeling for the elite guys Notre Dame has locked in for visits. So, scale of 1 to 10. We'll just go through them. Dante Moore.
9.
Yeah.
Okay.
9.
Impemba.
6.
I'm at a 5, but I think it could jump with the visit. I think that, yeah. I think right now the Southern schools are really making a good push for him.
Okay. Downs.
6.
Yeah, and that's up for me. I was at like a 3 a couple weeks ago, but I've gathered more and more information, I'd say I'm probably still a 5. I'm still a little bit skeptical. I still got a little bit of PTSD going on with him. I'm gonna say 5, but that's up from a 3 a week or two ago. So
I was probably a 2.
Yeah.
So
always got to one up me, don't you, Ryan?
no, that's
lower
downing
you.
Yeah,
no, I was even lower on him, but now I'm even higher on him. I'm totally kidding. I needed a good laugh.
All right.
But yeah, it's trending in the right direction is the point.
Good. Young.
Go for it. You first, Ryan.
I'm just thinking.
I'm at a 4. I'll let Ryan think. I'm at a 4 because, look, here's my stance. If you can get a kid on campus, you have a shot. If you can get a kid on campus for an official visit, you have you have a legitimate shot. It's just they could do a phenomenal job with him and finish 3rd. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you never know till he's going to get on campus. Kid's never visited before. So it's hard for me to say. I don't know him as well as I knew Braylon James. I don't know, he's just a quiet, kid that doesn't do a lot of media stuff. So it's hard to really know right now. The thought of beating Bama for a running back from the South seems like a tough bit for me. But the fact is 2 years ago, Notre Dame's not even mentioned. They're not getting a visit. So and Ryan has a great article about this at irishbreakdown.com where he talked about whether they get him or not. This shows this staff's him visiting officially shows this staff's ability to recruit against the big boys, and more importantly, I think, willingness to recruit. So if you haven't read that, it's at irishbreakdown.com. Check it out. It's Ryan's article today on Richard Young, but I'm still at a 4. And if I were to change my grade from a 4, I'd go down, not up.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking like a 2 or a 3. I mean, 4 is probably as high as I would go. I mean, we want to remain optimistic because, like you said, getting him on campus is a big step. But
right,
I've listened to some interviews he's done, Brian, and he hasn't done money. But man, he does really sound like a Notre Dame guy. He really does. He's well spoken, but I just don't say it.
And really thoughtful.
Yes.
Here's the thing: the reason I'm at a 4, not a 3, Ryan, is because it's not just a visit; it's an official, and that changes things for me because it just does. Now, it doesn't change things where I'm like, they're going to get Richard Young. I'd need to hear a lot more for that. And I won't have that feeling until the visit and we hear feedback from it. But look, they've put themselves in the game and they've shown that this staff will go anywhere for any kid and battle any school.
That's huge because that's the case in the past. So
because you may miss on Richard Young, but every 4 years you're going to get that one Richard Young type player.
Right.
That's a program changer.
Yeah, absolutely. Osbury.
I'm at like a 7 on Jaden Osbury. I feel pretty good about it.
Sick and tired of us being on the same answers, man. 7, 7, leaning towards an 8, but I need to see how the visit goes. I think they've got a really good shot with Jaden Osbury, and that could just be my bias towards him because I love. And it's not because he's from Baton Rouge. This isn't a Brian Kelly thing. I don't care if he was from Portland, Oregon, or wherever. I love that kid's film, and I like him. Like he's just a great kid. So I'm definitely on the Jaden Osbury train as a player.
Jason Moore,
8.5. I feel good about
Jason
8. Moore. Yeah,
I feel really good about where Notre Dame is, but I think he's a kid who a visit somewhere else could potentially sway him. But I feel really good about where Notre Dame is right now.
All right, Micah Bell.
Say like a 6.5. I think that they're in an okay spot with him. He has a visit coming up, so it could change very drastically. I need to see how it looks after the visit, though. Personally,
I'm at a 7. I feel they're in a really good position there. I think that they got a shot to close it out on the visit. He's also another kid where visits could change things, but everything I hear from him, everything I hear from my sources, Notre Dame's in a pretty good place. Now it's about closing, and that's going to be the key.
All right, finishing off with the big uglies, Jagasaw.
I mean, it's a 9 for me if it ends today. Like he's
9.5 for me.
Yeah.
Just so we're clear, I'll never say a 10 unless a kid's committed.
Right.
And even then, like, I don't know if I'd say a 10 for every kid that's committed to Notre Dame right now. But I'll never say an uncommitted kid is a 10 unless he's committing tomorrow and I already know the answer. Right. But even then, I wouldn't say it because then that kind of gives it away.
Right.
But I mean, look, I feel really good about Charles Jackson. So I go like 9.5. I feel good about that.
Monroe Freeling.
I'm at I'll say 8.5. I'm going to the halves a lot right now. Like I feel really good, but he's another one that, like Brian's kind of stated on a couple guys, there's still some visits to take. There's still a timeline that he's abiding by, right? So I think Notre Dame's in the lead, but when does it end is my biggest question on Monroe Freeling.
I'm at a 7 because I'm concerned he may not make a decision soon, and he's one of those kids that if he commits this summer, I feel right now that Notre Dame's got a really good shot to get him. If he carries this into the fall, it tells me he's not completely sold on Notre Dame, and that will open the door for somebody else. Okay. And so I'm at a 7.
Any other ones that you want to comment on, gentlemen? That aren't
I think those are the big boys, right? I mean, we could maybe do. What about Jaden Greathouse?
Greathouse, I feel good about. Maybe an 8 or a 9 for me. Maybe not 9. I'd say 8. 8's good.
He's an 8 for me. Yeah, same way. I feel really good, but visits are going to be key. But I feel really good about that one. I do. Jeremiah Love. That's one I'm curious to get your opinion on, Ryan, because you talked to him.
I'd say it's a 7. I feel good about where they are, but also, I mean, the question for a while was what would the numbers shake out to, right? If he's a take necessarily for Notre Dame right now. Now with the Cedric Irvin Jr. decommitments, I feel like numbers are in your favor a little bit more now. And I mean, I hope
you can sell running back.
I
tell you, you can sell running back now.
Exactly.
You can't, whereas before you were athlete and all that other kind of stuff.
I'll say 7 for now. He's got another visit obviously coming up. I feel like Notre Dame can very much close it out if they kill the visit, but I just want to see it first. So I'll say 7 to be tentative, I guess.
Here's 2 I want to ask Ryan about. Number 1 is Micah Tease. Because you had an interesting take in a conversation with me yesterday, and I'm curious how you would rate that.
I'll say that he's a 6 or 7 for me right now, which is a little down from where I was. I thought that Notre Dame was probably in the lead if Oklahoma was out of the picture, but I spoke to someone pretty close to Micah yesterday that basically told me that it can go in a lot of different ways, and it's very dependent upon these visits that are coming up. So officials aren't going to be the closeout for Micah Tease, but it's going to be the indicator for me. Like, you're going to find a lot out after these official visits. So I was feeling a little better before I kind of had the conversation yesterday. Notre Dame is firmly in the conversation, but these official visits are going to be kind of a big indicator of how it's going to go.
This is the one we have a big difference on. I'm at a 5. There's too many things for me that tell me this kid really likes Notre Dame, but too many things that tell me that I'm not really sure he sees himself at Notre Dame. And that may sound strange, but it's like, Vince, you've been doing this a long time. Like, there's some kids that, like, everything about him says Notre Dame, but just for some reason they've convinced themselves that, no, I can't make that move. So I hope that I'm wrong on that, but right now I'm at a 5. And then the last one for me, Ryan, is Christian Gray.
4. I don't feel good about that one at all.
I'm at a 5. Here's the thing about him is I could see them. Here's one thing I'm pretty confident in. Unless they just load up on other corners, if he commits somewhere else, and right now, if I had to predict, I'm with Ryan, I'd probably predict LSU right now. Notre Dame's not backing down from him. They're going to continue to fight. I think the visit for him to Notre Dame could be huge because it's, I just feel like he's a kid that they like. They've been on him a long time. He's a great he's a kind of like Micah Tease. He's a Notre Dame kid, one of the most Notre Dame kids in the class. Mom supports Notre Dame from everything I've been told, but she's going to support him picking whatever he wants to do. And so for me, it comes down to, does he think he's a Notre Dame kid? And if he doesn't figure it out now, can they convince him to do it down the road? Because they're not going to stop recruiting him. Unless they load up on corner, they're not going to start recruiting him because they really get they really like him, and they're not going to give up on him.